Dinesh and my student ID is APS 3316, and today's topic is revenue recognition. Revenue recognition is the term depicting the recognized source or an event where the revenue of an entity or a firm is accounted or recognized. It is a part of the generally accepted accounting principle. Fundamentally, the term revenue recognition is noted on an income statement. During a period, revenue is being created or acknowledged rather than considering the time the cash flow has been occurred. The important factor in determining the acceptance of a revenue, whether the revenue is occurred due to a critical incident and the measure of the revenue is conceivable. The articles chosen in this report to depict the revenue recognition from the accounting standards are Revenue Recognition, A Brave New World, and the US GAAP and IFRS. These topics were chosen due to the in-depth information on revenue recognition and establishing the right path to research on the topic to gain more understanding. This report comprises of the reasons the group measured for the evaluation of the articles chosen and the reasons to acknowledge the revenue recognition, establishing a detailed study and the analysis of the articles and developing the research questions to explore the numerous possibilities set out from the article by comparing and contrasting the possible revenue recognized problems. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Nityanand Shantakumar. My student ID is APS3314. So today we're going to see why our group chose two research articles related to our topic, which is revenue recognition. So the first article is the Revenue Recognition, A Brave New World, and the second article is US GAAP versus IFRS. So our first and utmost reason for choosing these both articles is that they provide ample literature evidence on the topic of revenue recognition by discussing its importance, thus enriching the knowledge based under the main topic of revenue recognition. It's also been discussed in both articles that there is need for universally accepted standards for revenue recognition under various firms and industries for which the efforts of FASB, which is the Financial Accounting Standards Board, and the IASB, which is International Accounting Standards Board, are very well highlighted. Both the boards generated new revenue recognition standards in the form of IFRS, which is again International Financial Reporting Standards, and United States generally accepted USA GAAP. Another important reason behind the selection of these two articles is the emergence and differences between IFRS and US GAAP, which were discussed in these articles in a detailed manner. And also it's been compared that US GAAP is more rules based as compared to the US principles IFRS.
Hi everyone, this is Priya Samuel, student ID DY31461. The topic assigned to our group was revenue recognition, and I'm going to be talking about the purpose of both of the articles selected for this particular report. Both of the articles aim at understanding the difference between revenue recognized under each of the standards, such as the US GAAP and IFRS. The first article in particular talks about the software industry and how revenue is recognized under each of the standards. The dependent variable for this particular article was the difference between revenue recognized under each of the standards divided by total assets, and the independent variable were the different accounting standards. The second article aims at understanding the customer reactions to the news of a new standard released under each of the standards. The data for 3 days was studied to analyze and reach a conclusion for this particular article and how the adjustment takes place in the market due to the event.
My name is Sukhanjit Kaur and my student ID is EZZ3103. Today I will discuss about similarities and differences. Let's start with the similarities. Income is perceived in the bookkeeping time frame when the deal is finished. When the title goes from a dealer to a purchaser, the exchange of the dangers and prices of proprietorship from dealer to purchaser finishes to all the commitments which encompasses in the deal. Merchandise must exist all together for the title to go from a vendor to purchaser. So there are some differences as well. The Financial Accounting Standard Board and International Accounting Standard Board have made a few works in creating all inclusive benchmarks, and there is some investigation try to find out in the theories to regard for the connection between the metric and the capacity to decide whether there are some differences between firm and there are non income acknowledgement infringement versus control firm with no non income acknowledgement infringement. That's all from my side. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Abu Bakr, and today I'm going to discuss two implications in the research findings. In the article US GAAP versus IFRS, the major difference between the standards reconciliation is that both the standards define the critical event differently. So the major implication regarding the research in terms of accountants in Australia is that whether to adopt the US GAAP or IFRS. However, the paired t-test revealed that the standards are to some extent reconciling, but the boards must focus more on clearing the confusion of when to record the revenue, because this is the main income factor that is considered by the investors. The accounting regulators must decide upon a common definition of critical event to further reconciling the software revenue recognition. A critical event is when the revenue is to be recognized in the accounts. In the article Revenue Recognition, A Brave New World, the research is about the market reactions of the introduction of revenue standards by both the board of FASB and IASB. The report shows that there is negative reaction to US GAAP and positive feedback to the IFRS. Australia is already in the confusion of adopting GAAP or IFRS, but recently Australia has solved this is by introducing IFRS, and the implication of the introduction of new standard will be major, but to some extent the companies have adopted to IFRS and the regulators also agree upon the new set of standards. And now I'm going to discuss for specific external users. In two theories discussed above, external users are those who are not the employees of the company but are the outsiders to whom the information is relevant. In both the articles, external users can be those who are affected by the adoption of revenue recognition software and US GAAP versus IFRS standards. So these are the suppliers in the selected companies. The major implication in both the studies are revenue generation without taking every minute complexities. In the first research topic, for example, US GAAP versus IFRS, it has been suggested that more stock need to be added so that result achieved could be more concise. The second topic, revenue recognition, a brave new world, which focuses on the adoption of the new standards and their effects thereupon. So it is shown that the suppliers will be affected by investing in high litigation risk rather than in lower litigation risk, because the market conditions are negative under higher risk and lower in the order. Thank you very much. That's all from my side.
Hi everyone, my name is Riya Kaushal and my student ID is DY31428, and I am here to conclude the topic revenue recognition. First and foremost things, the article selected by our group members to describe revenue recognition. We've selected two different topics. One is US GAAP versus IFRS, and the second one is revenue recognition, a brave new world. In the first one, revenue recognition, a new world, different software industries were taken to examine the effectiveness of software in their workings. Some peer t-test and null hypothesis tests were also done to conclude and answer that industries with high litigation risks have negative effects, and with lower litigation risks have positive effects. Then second article focused on adoption of standards between US GAAP versus IFRS, which say that a more concise model needs to be adopted to have better results. In our assignment, we have answered various questions regarding reasons behind choosing these topics, like the purpose of these studies, and some similarities and difference between these two topics. And the last one is two implications found in each model to conclude the whole topic. And I thank you on behalf of my group, and I hope you have a good day. Thank you very much.